I didn't announce this one. I don't plan on making this a really long one, but honestly, I'm not feeling the best. Can't sleep. So I'm doing a cult of cinema in my PJs, basically. Not all dressed up or anything. So here we go. What I wanted to do tonight was talk about, and it's not overly thought up, some of my favorite horror of the decade. So I'm going to go by year. And I actually, I got a list. I'm all snazzy like that. I have done it by pretty much I've chosen one. Oh, there we go. I've chosen one as my favorite for that year, with a bunch of others that as kind of honorable mentions. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like 2 or 3 honorable mentions. It might be more. Sometimes maybe a little bit less. But I want to go from 2010 to 2019 and talk about my favorite picks for. Hey, Ragman, welcome, dude. Good on you getting in there when I didn't even announce anything. So, did the notification thing work out? So, 2010, actually a pretty good year. So as I go, hey, cat lover, welcome, man. I'm doing the best horror of the decade, in my opinion. So I'm going to go by each of these years. And when I say year, if you want to shout out your favorite from that year, please do so. Howdy, Kathy. I did not expect to be on here today, but I figured this is going to be, hey, George, this is going to be my last day on here before I end up going to Morocco on the 2nd. Probably not. I'm probably going to try and get one more episode in before, maybe for New Year's Eve. Okay, so here we go. We'll start with 2010. We'll make a game of it. You guys can pick your own. Now, it's horror or horror related. So I'm not doing a list of like the best films of the decade. That's a whole different thing. But I'm going to do a list of the best horror films. I just lost a viewer when I said that. Can you believe that? All right. So for 2010, anybody have a shout out for 2010? I'm going to give you, this is interactive, so I'm going to give you guys the chance to give me your tops for that year before I give my top. Or you can be... Nice! Phantasm Spear set, Kathy, looks amazing. Well Go USA said some really good stuff, and they had a movie that I'm actually kind of interested in. Good evening there, Mug. This is how we're playing the game. I'm going to give you my top picks from every year from 2010 to 2019, along with some honorable mentions. When I say the year, if you got a favorite, feel free to shout it out as well. And let me know what your favorites are. So without further ado, since nobody shouted out anything for 2010, maybe it was the year that people really weren't that excited about. Mine isn't actually horror. Now, there were a few horror movies that came out in 2010, and I went back and forth on this. But I went for the horror-related film that actually intrigued me the most and that I got the most fun out of. And that was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I kind of want to see a sequel to this. I kind of don't, because it is just so much fun and was not at all what I thought it was going to be. But I loved it. I loved every second of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and I've watched it several times. As for honorable mentions, this was a good year for horror. Insidious came about this year. A lot of people put that as the number one on the list. Hatchet 2 was released in 2010. And the one that almost made it, that almost beat it, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, wasn't the one of those two films, but probably one that's a little bit lesser known. And it's another Adam Green film by the name of Frozen. No, it's not the Let It Go one. It's the, oh my God, he fed him with the wolves one. And I really like that. So that almost made it, and it was in the top place, but I had to go with my overall gut feeling, and Tucker and Dale versus Evil, I'm probably going to watch that more than Frozen. So yeah, I'm going to give that. Alan Tudyk was especially good in this film. 2011. Again, it was a really good year. We got some really good ones here. So, but for me, Kevin Smith won it for me in a huge, huge surprise with Red State. Red State's, you know, things like the West Baptist Church and stuff. Hey, Brian, welcome, dude. Red State scared me. Like, Red State legitimately scared me because it just seemed so real. Except for, well, the certain portion of it. But for most of the film, yeah. It creeped me out. Honorable mentions in 2011. were, of course, Scream 4, which I really enjoyed. It was a great theater-going experience. Paranormal Activity 3, which I actually, no, I will never say Tusk, which I actually really, really enjoyed. You're Next, which a lot of people liked, but not me. I can watch it, and I love the song. But The Family Annoys Me. Was that 2011? And I had Detention on here, so I must have forgot the witch. I'm sorry. I was doing this up last night. It took me about an hour and a half, and I kept like forgetting ones that I was doing. So I will miss some, and that's why you guys are here to tell me what I missed. 2012. Okay. Is anybody going to try and guess at all throughout this entire video, or to give their own like movie thoughts? Anybody? Bueller. Bueller. Okay. All right. You know, this game is not going to go well. If if you don't know, okay, I'll give my. So for 2012, it went to. This was one of the hardest years. It's a spirit. And somebody guessed it, and guessed it right, by the way. Sinister was 2012 for me. That creeped me out. I thought it was really well done. It gave this new kind of iconic character that they kind of followed up with Sinister 2. But there was so much good stuff from this year. And Excision with Anna Lynn McCord was an excellent film. Cabin in the Woods was a fun little time waster that I enjoyed. Rec 3, actually. VHS, which kind of, hey, Dungeon, welcome. VHS came about and gave us kind of help revitalize found footage films again and anthology films. So you got to give you got to give VHS some credit. And the one that almost took top place, the one that almost beat Sinister, that's going to surprise a lot of people that watch my channel, was Lords of Salem. I really enjoyed Lords of Salem. It's insane, it is crazy, and I like it that way. 2013 isn't a hard one to figure out. There's a lot of things that came out in 2013, but one movie kind of took the cake and kind of set the tone for horror going forward. I think that's what you're supposed to be with Lords of Salem. You kind of don't know what to think about it. I will get to some of those. But 2013 was easy for me. It was The Conjuring. The Conjuring, you know, whether you like the series or where it's gone now or like the later Conjuring films, the original Conjuring really did kind of freak me out. And it had a couple really, really good jump scares that I really enjoyed. Now, what else came out in 2013 is, the Evil Dead remake, which it was definitely, Lords of Salem was definitely zombie trying to do kind of like Euro horror and like kind of the 70s like style stuff. Hey, Logan, we are going year by year. You should be able to do this. Here's the rules. I'm counting down year by year. I'm going to give my favorite horror for that year and honorable mentions. Feel free to shout out yours. What you missed so far is 2010, I went with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. 2011, Red State. 2012, Sinister. And 2013, The Conjuring. So we're up to 2014, and this was the hardest one. Yeah, definitely one of the hard. Yeah, it was the hardest year. And why was 2014 the hardest year? Because it was a good year. It was a really good year, I went back and forth. I haven't seen the one. I actually want to see it. And then I gave a tie to 2014. It's the only tie on my list, but there is a tie. This is the only one. And there were a lot of good movies. Somebody mentioned It Follows, like that's in my honorable mentions. And I really loved It Follows. I think it was Cat Lover. But the two movies that got me in 2014 was Oculus, which I really, really enjoyed, way more than I thought I was going to. But overall, even more so than that, there's a little film called Creep, and I expected to hate it. I'm not a huge fan footage person. It was odd and strange when I started watching it, but Creep really, really kind of like gets under your skin. If it did, and that character was so good. Also, It Follows and Starry Eyes were my two like honorable mentions for 2014. And like I say, anything on this list is I think is an excellent film. 2015 was a weaker year. I'm going to get to that too, by the way. 2015. Anybody got 2015? Do they have any idea? But 2015 for me was The Final Girls. And I really enjoyed The Final Girls. Was that The Witch? Okay, yeah, okay, that's some honorable mentions. But also Krampus and Crimson Peak. I don't remember the year. And I don't think I've seen it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. So anything that I haven't seen, I can't find on the list. But The Final Girls definitely won 2015 for me. It was a weaker year. But still some decent horror. 2016 had some great stuff. Was Bone Tomahawk 2015? But one, and it came from Netflix actually. So that surprised me. Stood out because it was refreshing in a sea of a lot of downbeat films. And that was a little movie called Hush. Hush just really worked. And Hush could have taken the route that almost every single one of these home invasion movies takes and left you with a really downbeat, depressing, ultra cruel ending. But it doesn't. And I really enjoyed that. It is tense. It is thrilling. They don't have to kill the animal to do it. And a lot of movies, there'll be this thing where they'll have a pet, like a dog or a cat, and just to show how evil the guy is, they'll have him come along and kill the pet. Even Halloween sunk to that level at one point, a couple of times actually. But Hush doesn't do that. The killer is scary enough that he doesn't have to go and like kill her cat and put it in the window or something or anything like that. He's just scary, and the tension mounts on its own, and it has a satisfying resolution. Honorable mentions for 2016, by the way. Autopsy of Jane Doe. That almost made it. Actually, I went back and forth, but Hush just delivered in a different way. But Autopsy of Jane Doe was scary. 2016 also had Don't Breathe, which I really liked. It was Fede Alvarez's follow-up to his really well-done remake of Evil Dead. After people basically saying, oh, well, Evil Dead was only good because of the gore. Look at all the gore he put in there. Look at all the gore. He made Don't Breathe. And he said, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to take out a bunch of gore. I'm going to make a movie that's still scary. Anyway. And it worked. Don't Breathe worked. But Hush wins it. Just by a smidgen over Autopsy of Jane Doe. That was a hard one. 2017 gave me the second the second tie in my list. And my last one, that's an actual tie. As far as I know. I got to check 2019. I don't think this was a tie in 2019. But I'll tell you the honorable mentions in 2017 first. Gerald's Game. A fantastic film that actually, again, came on Netflix, is an honorable mention. It is an honorable mention. I can see that. I can see I like Jane Doe, but I can see the ending thing. But the tie for 2017 were two movies. Actually, I don't know if I've seen it. I don't have it come tonight. Were Get Out, because hell yeah. And it was mentioned before. And yes, even 2014, the original made it to the top of the list. And in 2017, the sequel outdid the original film by a long mile, and Creep 2 creeped onto the top of the list again. So Get Out and Creep 2 both tie for 2017, and hey, you're welcome, dude. Train to Busan. What year was Train to Busan? Get Out was amazing, in all ways. Now, 2018, it's not hard. Halloween. The 2018 Halloween 2 just did it for me. It hit me in all the right places as a Halloween fan. And I haven't seen Mandy yet, so I can't. But that's why it's not on my list. That's the honest reason. I haven't seen it yet. Honorable mentions: The Strangers Pray at Night. I had an amazing theatrical experience with that film, and I enjoyed it when I watched it at home as well. Hereditary, again, love that, and A Quiet Place. Those were for 2018. Those are the ones that kind of stuck with me that I've seen. All right. Apparently, it's a really odd film, but give it another try. Nobody is going to choose or pick what I picked for 2019. I can tell you right now. Give me your picks for 2019. That's this year. So you got to be able to remember it for this year. Well, we could go there. See, I'm not going to go any further until somebody at least. I don't know, but I want to see it, Brian. I haven't seen Lighthouse, so I don't know that one. I Trapped the Devil. Again, I haven't seen I Trapped the Devil either. Like I say, this is my list, and like you, I still have a lot to see. So, as of like the movies that I've seen, and I didn't see a lot in 2019, but well, Joker. I don't consider Joker. It's a psychological thriller. Joker, not horror for me. But I get what you mean. I can tell you right now, almost everybody's going to disagree. But that's why it's my list, and people can make their own lists. Dave, hey there. Okay, Us is not a French film, but it's not the winner either. Want me to give you the honorable mentions? Ills. You mean Ills? And yeah, that is a fantastic film. But Us was honorable mention. Oh no. Ready or Not was an honorable mention. And by the way, see Ready or Not. It's a really fun film. But I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one. Maybe just kind of flew under the radar, or maybe just people just weren't into it the way that I was. But I really enjoyed this film, like from start to finish. There's a few twists along the way. You can kind of guess where some of them are going. It too didn't even make the honorable mentions list. It's not Black Christmas either. I haven't seen Black Christmas. I've seen I want to see it because I'm a slasher fan, but I don't think this is going to make my list either. Although I love like slasher movies, it's actually The Perfection. So I'm not sure who's seen it or who hasn't, but I really, really enjoyed The Perfection. It got to me in a way that a lot of films like don't. And it's just a small little film that if you've never seen it, it's different. It's like, I'm not sure what year this movie came out. I don't think it was in like this decade, because if it was, like, and I missed it, I'm sorry. Whatever year this was in, this would definitely be on the top list. Was a movie called The Invitation. I did them, Dave, by years. Went from 2010 to 2019. It is the Netflix movie. I was home one day and I wasn't feeling the best. I had heard it mentioned, and I And because I've had some luck with some of the Netflix horror films, like the originals, like Hush, like I'm not sure if it's the Netflix original, but The Invitation. Uh, I love that film, by the way. If you have not seen The Invitation, please see that movie. But The Perfection, it really stuck with me. So it beat out Us, which I really liked. It beat out Ready or Not, which again was a comedy horror. Remember, if you're going to see a Ready or Not, don't expect your next. It's not your next. It's a comedy horror. And Samara Weaving, she was in Babysitter, and oh man, that was a fun film. But The Perfection is a really good film. Basically, without giving anything away, it is about a girl that was kind of like a virtuoso, a with I think it was violin. Was it violin or is it like the okay, whatever? She's an artist basically, and and she goes back. She had to leave her school years ago because her mother got sick, and she comes there like for to be a judge at a competition of these of all these other these newer like kind of like younger people that are pretty much being the next her, and things go wildly insane from there. You're watching it, you think you know where it's going, and then you're like, aha, I knew that twist was coming up. And then that twist adds its own twist, but this own twist makes sense. And there's a twist on that one. It's all kind of timey-wimey for all my Doctor Who fans out there. So The Perfection, you haven't checked it out? Check it out. That was mine for 2019. So there you go. That is in 21 minutes, I did my decade of my top 10 decade. And I feel like The Invitation is probably came out in that time frame, and I somehow missed one of my favorite films of the year. So I haven't seen Haunt yet, but I've heard good things about it. That's like Hellfest. Like people tell me like a lot of things like to watch Hellfest. That's really good. I haven't seen Hellfest either. Like it's kind of fun and cheesy. Other movies that stood out or movies or shows that stood out in 2019. Oh, Scream got a TV series in 2019 in this decade, and overall, surprisingly, every I think Rub would count. Dark Water and Pulse. I think Dark Water is Korean. Did I get that wrong? Paul, I love Dark Water and Pulse, the original. And that's what you got. Pulse, the American one, stay far away from. I love Kristen Bell. I love Veronica Mars. But stay the hell away from the American version of Pulse. The Invitation, Kathy, is one of those where I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you. In all seriousness, watch it. You will like it. Go in blind. That is the best way to go in for The Invitation. I went in completely blind for The Invitation, and it is an amazing film with some great performances. The Extra Show was actually really good. I was surprised that one didn't last. Some movies are like that. Some movies you just got to go in blind. Whenever I can, I try to go in blind. Or if it's a movie that from years ago, and I buy it, I try to forget as much of it as possible, or keep it for a little bit, so that it's not so fresh in my mind. The one documentary came out, and everybody's talking about it on Netflix that I can't watch, is a little thing called Don't F with Cats. Uh, as you can see, movies like Bird Box didn't make my list because I kind of thought Bird Box was overrated. It was okay, but I have not seen that movie. I don't have Shudder right now. Actually, I'm getting Shudder back in January. I got a lot that I have to see. Don't F with Cats. It's a documentary, and it's a true crime documentary, and it's about this guy that that kills cats and posts videos of himself killing cats, and somebody trying to kind of hunt him down. Cats is a different type of horror. That's yeah. So it's twisted, and what happens to him? Well, look it up if you don't want to watch the movie. Just like wiki it. Don't want to get into it too much. I have 3 cats, so I could never watch that film. Like people say, oh, it's brilliant, it's a great documentary. They don't really show anything except in one scene. That one scene is too much for me. Don't care if that makes me seem like wimpy or not. I can't. I'm an animal lover. I can't. Yeah, I knew. That's the thing. I got cats, so he was got. He was got. Oh, Neon Demon. Actually, I love Neon Demon. I actually forgot about it, and for some reason, when I was going through my list of like horror films, because I went online, because I can't remember by the year. I wish my memory was that good. Neon Demon wasn't there, so but I really liked Neon Demon. It was one of those that stood out for me. But I don't want to call them artsy. I like some films like that. I like some more quieter, subtle horror. I'm a guy that likes my Z grade stuff and slashers and all that type of stuff. I couldn't even watch it. I just heard about it. Like my better half is a huge cat lover, right? I don't know actually, but I haven't seen Gummo. She said, "Is this something I'm gonna like?" So when I heard the title, I thought, well, maybe this is about the cat like video phenomenon on all the funny cat videos and stuff like that, and maybe somebody did a documentary on it. So I thought that sounds kind of cool. So I googled it for my better half, and then I said, don't ever watch it. What were my thoughts regarding Terrorizer? I think that the guy that played and 13 Wolfman actually interviewed him. 13 Wolfman's not here tonight, unfortunately. But 13 Wolfman interviewed the guy from who played Art the Clown in Terrorizer. I think that the guy that played Art was all in, and he was extremely good. I think that Terrorizer was a bit weak. The script wasn't the best, but if you'd seen the earlier stuff that Art the Clown was, it's way better than All Hallows Eve. But it's fun. I'm hoping that the sequel to Terrorizer will be a lot better. Terrifier? Terrorizer? What was it? Terrifier, right? Because he did so good in that role that he deserves a better script than he got. And there's a lot of weak performances. There's like some weak plotting with that film. But yeah. Just so you know, I don't do worst of lists in my videos because I think there's enough worst of lists out there and negativity. My channel tries to stay away from that. So in case you're wondering why I don't have like a worst of list, a lot of people do it and they think and it's a big like hit type of thing. It's a good thing to get to get views. I'm trying to stay positive even when I'm talking about horror. So there was no worst of list for me. So I apologize if you wanted a worst of list. I'm not the guy for that. I like so much. I'm super cheesy that way. That I don't mind because I disagree with most of the time in the worst of list, and so did a lot of society. But they were very very good at what they're saying. I'm missing comments here. I got to get to the comment thing. I do apologize if somebody might asking questions and I missed it out. NAM stuff movies is cheap heat user. Yeah, definitely, 100% agree. That's why I don't like a lot of the cannibal films. And if I do see one, then I prefer to see them with the animal cruelty stuff taken out. Some people think it's like well, if you take the animal stuff, you're changing the director's vision. I don't care. Because yeah, not good stuff. I have seen Cannibal Holocaust. I saw it years ago. I actually have it here in my collection. But I have a version that has an animal cruelty free part of it. And if you hear from the director, Ruggero Deodato, he actually said that he would have liked to not have the animal cruelty thing. He said it was a different time. If he was to do it again, he would not have done it. And that's which I hate the fact that he did it, but I like the fact that he owned up to it and he said, you know what, yeah, the animal cruelty free version is probably what my preference would have been if I were to do this movie again. So credit to Deodato for that, because some of them just go all in on it. You can't watch Deep Red? Oh, because of the little girl scene? I can get that. Green Inferno. I still haven't seen Green Inferno. So I couldn't put that on the list either way. And I like Eli Roth. I think Eli Roth is kind of like me. He's a movie fan. He just has more money and he can make films. But I got a feeling that I would totally get along with Eli Roth. Well, then I'd probably get along with Rob Zombie too, even though I don't like a lot of his films. Us horror lovers have a lot in common. I haven't seen it. I mean, I know what it's about, Michael. I've heard about it. What's the most immoral film I've ever seen? A Serbian film, probably for pretending it's political, and I don't believe it. Own Your Exploitation. The original Black Christmas is my favorite movie of all time. Nothing can beat that for me. I do not expect this Black Christmas to be as good as the original Black Christmas. However, I do think, and from what I've seen and heard about it and read about it, it's going to be much better for me than Black Christmas 2006. So that's always a plus. See, I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it? But here's the thing, and this is why I will like, because I know it happens in Black Christmas. I looked it up. Well, I will like the new Black Christmas over the 2006 one. I know you like it. That may be controversial for a minute. And I'm going to do this in the way that I want to say this as we're going to keep politics and all that stuff out of it. Doesn't matter. The original Black Christmas was a scary, dark, disturbing film. It was also a film that had a bit of a message. Whether people want to buy it or not, it had a message. 2006 version of Black Christmas, Black Xmas as they call it, had some fun scenes. I lost a lot of respect for Joe Bob Briggs over that. Because I'm going to say it right now, before I go any further, that was dumb. What his thoughts on the original Black Christmas. That wasn't smart. And that bothers me. Because he's a guy that should be smarter than that. I'm not talking about the new Black Christmas. I'm talking about the original Black Christmas, by the way. I don't care what his... I know what his thoughts are on the new one. I'm probably not going to like it that much either. But it got everything wrong. The 2006 one got everything wrong as a Black Christmas thing. It tried to explain stuff that shouldn't be explained. It put in the more modern two-killer concept. It just got everything wrong. And 2019 one has nothing to do with the first two of them. No Billy, as far as I know. No Billy, right? It's a slasher. With a bit of a message, and whether I like or I find the message overpowering or not, I don't know. But that goes back to what Black Christmas originally was. It was a horror film with the message. But you can't beat the original. That's what I'm going to go with. Can't beat the original. But due to the fact, tonally, the new Black Christmas, even though it's not a slasher film, 2006 is tonally the opposite of what the original Black Christmas is. 2019, tonally, as for what they're trying to do, is closer in tone to the original Black Christmas. That being said, neither one's going to be Black Christmas, and neither one's going to be are good films. I don't think are going to be really good films, not for me. But you know what? That's why there's so many horror movies out there, because there's something for everybody. If you don't like this one, there's another one coming along in 5 minutes, and you will like that. I don't know. It was really, really an odd take. He talked about from what I'd heard, he talked about there was no there was no suspects in Black Christmas. Black Christmas is not a mystery film. Joe Bob Briggs. That's not Agatha Christie. Where that's not the type of film it is. But even if you want to take that aspect to it, there kind of was. Udo Kier and Art Hindle were the suspects. No, they did it horribly, and there's a reason for that, Michael. And I'll explain that in a second, actually. And now it's not completely what Bob Clark had in mind, but there were aspects of it, and you have to remember Bob Clark did this much later. Bob Clark had made Baby Geniuses too after this, so so we can forgive him in his later years. Joe Bob Briggs also thought that it didn't have a resolution. No, he died before the 2006 version came out, Brian. Unfortunately, Bob Clark passed away before. But he thought he didn't have a resolution. That's the idea. Joe Bob, if you ever watch me here, right now, I'm going to talk directly to Joe Bob Briggs here. Joe Bob, it's not supposed to. Much like Pranks, aka The Dorm That Drip Blood, its ending is supposed to be nihilistic and scary and unnerving. It's not Scooby-Doo. If it was Scooby-Doo, then at the end of the film, they'd take off his mask, he'd probably be Udo Kier, and it would be like, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that damn Olivia Hussey. But that didn't happen. Why? Because it's not Scooby-Doo. It is a dark, scary, serious horror movie that came out the year after the Roe versus Wade trial, and that is a big, big, big influence on Black Christmas. Even as a kid, I realized that, probably because I was a weird kid and I wanted to be a liar at one point, so I used to study up law books. Scholar. But yeah, it was meant to be very scary. It was. It was not meant to ever have an explanation for the killer. So somebody asked me a minute ago, why did 2006 go so wrong? What happened? Because we had a talented director behind the 2006 one. We had some work with Bob Clark, a later Bob Clark, but still Bob Clark. That's true. You can't. You can never make with the same text unless you set it like Brian. If you were to make it now, you'd have to set it back in that day in order to do it. Because nowadays you're like, yeah, I don't know him. Yes, I do. I know who you are. I've got caller ID. Let me trace this. But there's one big important thing to remember. Black Xmas was made by the same person that made Willard. Now, Willard was a remake with Crispin Glover, and actually had R. Lee Ermey in it. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed it, but it did not do well. It did not do well so much that, hey Dave, welcome, happy New Year and Merry Christmas. It did so badly that it shook the director. It really shook the director. And you can see it. If you ever bought the 2016 Black Christmas and you got the one with the 2 discs, and you're watching it and they're interviewing the director of the film, you can see he doesn't have the confidence that he had before. And what happens when a director loses confidence in his own work? Studio involvement. And that's what happened with Black Christmas. I do not think that the movie that director wanted to make ever saw the screen in either one iteration with either of the endings. I think his version of Black Christmas could have been much better, but unfortunately, it wasn't. I think we do have. Well, do we have the actor? We do have like a lot of good actors still today that could probably do some of that stuff, especially some of the ones coming up there. For me, I would have been. I would have went back to The Whale. I would have been. If I had to choose a second fave of all time, does it have to be horror or? Because that's hard. Like there's a few movies like when you put me into into different categories. So like there's so many like films. I like a lot of like darker films, but I love film noir. So things like when I think of movies like The Past and Margin, like those things are high on my list. Just incredible films that I really like. So if it would probably be a. Have you seen Black Christmas at least 100? Before I finished high school, Brian, I'd seen Black Christmas at least 100 times. That's the truth of the matter. Actually, there's a few movies like that. I lived in a small town, and when I was growing up, like VHS was just coming out, and we had like a couple of small like stores, like VHS place where you could rent VHS, and you can rent the VCRs and stuff as well. So I was constantly like renting films over and over again because there was not a wide selection. And what I couldn't find, I would like go to my local library, and you couldn't rent movies at the library back then. This is the ancient days, guys. I got to the library on my Tyrannosaurus, and I would like read. I would get books on films, and read about films until I could actually see them. So that might have had something to do with my study of films later on in life, and the fact that this is going to be weird, but who here has seen Sherlock, the Benedict Cumberbatch like TV series? The last film I saw in horror film saw in the theater was probably Halloween, actually. So you ever see those times when Sherlock when he's kind of picturing things in his mental space in his head? Well, I see movies like that at times. I can be watching and I'll just kind of visualize where the marks are and where the cameras are and the lighting. And yeah, I know that is really strange, but I've been doing that since I've been like probably like mid high school, and it's something that I have to turn off so that I can actually just sit back and enjoy a film. And if you know me, I'm a guy that will sit back and enjoy a film. Tammy and the T-Rex, I missed out on a particular slipcover. I'm an idiot. The new Grudge, yeah, they keep showing. I did not even know that was going to be a thing. I did not know the new Grudge was a thing. It looks really good, but I did not know it was a thing until I started seeing commercials come up. And now I don't want to see commercials because I want to see it, and I don't want it ruined for me. I hate the modern day, like commercials where, hey, you know what? Like Pet Sematary. Remember Pet Sematary? You imagine how much more impactful the twist in Pet Sematary would have been if, I don't know, they didn't show it in the trailer. Because what the hell? Good night, Dungeon. Oh no, I've. This is what I made you do to watch people jump off a Golden Gate. Am I that bad? Girly. Oh my God, that's an older one. Yeah, I remember Girly. I even remember the VHS cover of Girly, with the dress and the axe hanging down. That takes me back. Yeah, I remember Girly. Not well, but I remember the cover, the VHS cover. Yeah, trailers are horrible. DC, stop it, man. DC, you've done a few good movies now. DC, Aquaman was good. Wonder Woman was good. People love the Joker. Stop giving away stuff in the trailers, please. Don't. Batman versus Superman. What the hell? I really love the Fantasy Island trailer. I'm a huge Fantasy Island fan, and I loved watching Fantasy Island when I was growing up. Uh, People forget how dark that show is, though. They always remember like the comic or the romantic parts. Fantasy Island is not Love Boat. It was. I can't do a worse list. Thank you, though, but because I'm sickeningly positive on my channel. I have films that I don't like, but I leave others, the worst list, people that are better than me. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I've mentioned bad movies, but I gotta think, if I really watched a movie this year that I really, really didn't like, I don't know. I don't know if I got a movie that I really didn't like this year. Some people didn't like Happy Death Day to You. I thought it was really good. I haven't seen The Lighthouse yet, Dennis. That's one I really want to see. Love both those actors. They're fantastic. And it looks really good. And I don't know. I really don't. I can't even think of a movie that I saw that I really didn't like this year. Like there's ones that I liked like less than others, and ones that I probably felt disappointed about. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet. Wait a minute. Do you want a bad one for this year? I think it's this year. That I didn't like. I'll give you one. The Haunting of Sharon Tate. You want something that's tasteless and not good. There's my that's where I go with that. I know I have so much to catch up on, Michael. So The Haunting of Sharon Tate. There you go. You want a bad movie? That's a really bad movie. Oh, Dennis, give it another shot. Ready or Not is so much fun. You just got to go in realizing it's not a horror movie, it's a comedy. And Samara Weaving, amazing this, amazing in The Babysitter. I'm going to give you guys another honorable mention for 2019. I think this is 2019. I really like this film. How did this like not get on my list? Satanic Panic. I love Satanic Panic. Just a ton of fun. Ending, kind of weak, but I did enjoy it overall. Also enjoyed Trick too. So check those out. You can actually buy them for like $14. Anna McDowell was. Did I see Bad Times at the El? I refuse to see Bad Times at the El Royale because I really want to own that movie and I want to see it on 4K. So I'm waiting to get the 4K disc for Bad Times at the El Royale. That's the only reason I haven't seen it. There's a few movies that have come out that I haven't seen yet until I get the 4K of them. I'm expecting to really like the new James Bond movie in 2020. That helps. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. People have very, very varying thoughts on Crimson Peak, which made my list. Do I have the Arrow release? I do. I did not. Well, I did not know Arrow put out Satanic Panic actually. So thank you. But yeah, no, actually, I had no idea they put out, and I love that one. I don't think Del Toro is overrated at all. I think anything Del Toro is probably underrated. That's in my not so humble opinion. I know, but I got so many copies of Beyond Day. It's the killer part. I even got the really cool Steelbook edition of it. Classic that I didn't think was so great. Friday 13th, really? I don't know. Classic that I didn't think was so great. There are classics that I did not get into as much as other people. Again, I want to stone me for this, but it took me a while to get into The Shining before I actually got into it. I think it was like my third watch for The Shining before I actually kind of dug it. For the same reason that like some people had, was that I really loved the book The Shining. And so when I was first saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? Now, filmmaking wise, like, well, wow. Exorcist never scared me. But I think Exorcist really scares you a lot of times, like if you've got a strong like religious upbringing or Catholic, there was a religious upbringing in my household, but The Exorcist didn't freak me out. Exorcist 3 did a bit more, actually, to be honest with you. I know that's, not the cool thing to say. And I do love The Exorcist. I have it here. I have the special edition of it. But as far as the 3 Exorcist film go, well, the 4, 5 actually, 2 sequels, right? I probably more got into the 3rd one. I haven't seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I would love to see that. I'm pretty sure my kids used to have some of those. Del Toro's second house is glorious, and I want to go there and write, because it is so filled with inspiration. And also, I'm not the only person to like Exorcist 3. Excellent. Kind of makes me happy. Del Toro's really, I like listening to him talk. It's like Eli. I like listening to Eli Roth talk. One of my favorite sequences in a film, and some people hate this, Inglourious Bastards. They're like really like hyping up this like killer in Inglourious Bastards, right? And it's like, and they're terrified because this guy's gonna come and he's a Nazi killer and all this, right? And then it comes, and then Eli Roth comes on the screen, and Eli Roth is not the most imposing man, but that's kind of the idea behind the whole thing of like, the man behind the myth type of thing. I really like that sequence. It's always stood out to me as one of those scenes in cinema that I truly enjoy. Ari Aster is a fan. Then you can tell when a lot of these people do exactly, yeah, do good. It's he is a fan. There are a few. I'm actually waiting to do another list. So just so you know, that's why I haven't done it. I love The Thing right from the beginning. When I was young, and I remember going to see, like originally same thing, I couldn't believe that people didn't like it. Like the effects, the Rob Bottin's effects in the film were so real, and it just blew me away, man. The Thing is still so effective that my better half of me went to a digital film festival a few years back, and she'd never seen The Thing, but she likes John Carpenter. She'd seen a lot of his films, so we get to The Thing. This is like her second or third movie in, right? The dog is brought in. She doesn't know. You remember she's an animal lover too. I'd forgotten. And then that scene happens with The Thing and the dog and the whole massacre, and she bolted out of that theater so fast. Shook up, like completely shook up. I felt horrible. I followed her out. I stayed with her. Did not go back in and watch the digital version of The Thing in theater. She came first. You know what she didn't like? And I gotta agree because I saw part of it and I turned it off. Ad Astra. Wasn't really big into that either. Rob Bottin, Dead Rising 7, Robocop Lit. Oh yeah, so much good stuff. They were that damn good. But yeah, no man, I couldn't go in. Like, she was so shook up. Like, we just sat down. She said, "You can go in. You go watch the movie." I'm like, "No." We sat down. We talked for a bit. Then we walked around the mall, and then we came in later on to watch Thunderball, which what's good? There's a lot of good sci-fi movies. Blade Runner, fantastic. The new Blade Runner actually was actually pretty good. Yeah, I did not know, Dave. I was actually showing that on one of my videos, and I think it was like I think it was maybe Low and Toxic that said, do you know that's out of print? I'm like, no, I had no idea actually. But if you got the Corman collection, it's really, really good, and it has the documentary on it. So you're going to get all 3 films on 2 discs. I think there might be like a slip, like a little like write up in there. Yeah, there's sci-fi. There's a lot of really good sci-fi. There's a new Dune coming out, but it's going to be hard pressed for me to for have the Dunes that came on TV. Remember those TV Dunes? Dune and Children of Dune? Those things rock. Those were really good. It's going to be hard to beat those for me because I'm a big Dune fan. So you made the right choice, Dave, but with getting that one. Logan's Run. Oh yeah, I love Logan's Run. I even watched the TV series back in the day, which starred Gregory Harrison, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Gregory Harrison from Trapper John MD. Did you like Rich Wax Mask? You're not finished yet, Rich, because you still have to watch the featurette where Dario Argento talks about Mary Bava, and you get a little bit like in your heart. Dude, no, I love it. My better half. That's one thing we bonded on actually was our love of that. Was of the TV version of Dune. It's so superior to the theatrical version, like so superior. 2001 is a fantastic science fiction film. It's a slow burn, Kathy, but I actually adore it. And 4K. Jenny Agutter. I'll watch anything with Jenny Agutter in it. Who's a Couplings fan? Because there's a sequence in Couplings. It's a British UK like comedy series. If you haven't seen it, please see it. Don't see the American version of it. It's horrible. But where Jeff is one of the main characters, and they're talking. He's talking about Jenny Agutter. He says, because Jenny Agutter, she's guaranteed nudity. He said, when I was a kid, he said I just waited for a film to come on with Jenny Agutter in it, like Walkabout, because it was guaranteed nudity. Please watch Couplings, where you hear it like done well and done right, and remember exactly what it said, and then you know what the giggle laugh is. I haven't. I have the Blu-ray edition of Suspiria, and I only got last year. What do I think about Tenet? I thought it looks amazing. I think it looks amazing, but I think it looks a lot like another film called Inception. Reminds me a lot of Inception. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a familiar thing. But I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun movie. Well, Stefaletti is like, he's the Tom Savini of Italy, basically. By the way, Tom Savini's documentary, I'm not sure what cut of it, but a cut of it appeared on Shudder. And I got to see that documentary years ago at Montreal Horror Fest when it premiered for the very first time. So some people ragged on it, and it hit me. It hit me hard. It really did, and I'll tell you why. When I watched the Tom Savini documentary, there were things like brilliantly brutal, kind of deep cuts that I can't imagine somebody opening up about, but he does. And I watched it in Montreal, and you hear a lot about Savini, but he was so nervous, and he literally, like when he came up, he said, "Anybody want to ask questions?" and all this, it's still rough. He apologized a lot, and he was visibly nervous about like putting all that out there and just seeing how people were going to react to it, and that endeared me more to the man actually. And the documentary, I really really liked it. So having some people like go online and say, well, it's a documentary that Tom Savini, he produced it and he's glamorizing himself and stuff like that. No, he's not. He was scared to death making that documentary, and you can tell because it doesn't show everything in in the greatest light. Like he made mistakes, but in the end of the time, he was a fan. He stepped up when he had to step up, and that meant moving away a bit from the industry and what he could do. So for the people that just got on and just ran their mouth and crap, like, give me a break. You want to see like negativity? I mean, yeah, that'll bring it out. Sorry guys, I got dark for a second, didn't I? Oh man, yes. Joe D'Amato, Beyond the Darkness. I love Absurd. I love Anthropophagus. I like. That's usually considered the favorite. It's the gore one. It's definitely the gore one of the three of them. Anthropophagus and Absurd kind of go together. They're kind of like unofficial sequels of one another. If you haven't seen Absurd before, Dennis, let me know, or Dave, let me know. But because I really, really like that film, and I hope you got the ones. I hope the soundtracks came the ones you got because that's awesomeness. I still got to get Beyond the Darkness. I have the Shriek Show edition. I got to upgrade it though. Let me know for real. I want to know what you thought of Absurd. Beyond the Darkness is really good. Did Joe D'Amato do Absurd? Well, my mind's gone. Under the Skin. What's he coming out with now? I don't know what the new one is. I did like Under the Skin though. See, Dave, I'm like a couple of days away from flying halfway across the world, so I'm not exactly the brightest. I'm never the brightest, but I'm not at the top of my game right now. For people that came in to see the top horror of the decade, I did do that. Within the first 20 minutes of this video, goes through that. And check it out. I don't consider me humble. I wish I was humble. I just consider myself blatantly honest. I hit my 40s. I hit my 40s, all right. So I smashed in my 40s. But yeah. All right. So I work tomorrow. God. Can I offer a suggestion? I work in a company where people call and to get help with things. Exactly. I haven't got beyond the 40s yet, but I'll get there. Hopefully. Be nice. I mean, people that are trying to help you on the other side of a phone, they're legit trying to help you. So don't be jerks to people. They got families, they're making money, they're answering the phone. You're upset about like your thing isn't working right, or you didn't get, the lights aren't working right on my truck, or my Christmas tree is not turning on. That's great, but that's first world problems, and the person that you're calling is getting away from his family to do stuff like that. So I know that. It's Christmas time. Be nice to people. That's a good idea, Kathy. I work in customer service, and I've worked in customer service before. I didn't think I would go back to it, but I did, and the people that I work with are really, really nice, so that always helps out. Not nowadays though, because I'm Canadian. You get me, and you want to be nice to me because I used to work with Comcast years ago, and I was at Convergys or someplace like that. Anyway, I'm not sure if they're around anymore. But people would come and they would call me, and I would do like cable and internet, and they would be like super mean. And this job I liked because, and I will tell you why right now. This is gonna make me sound like a dick, but it's true. People would they'd be like, my cable's not working right now. I said, I need somebody out there right now. So, well, somebody's going to come between this time and this time. We'll get it done. And they're like, no. He said, I don't think you understand. I'm waiting around. I want my kid working out. Well, I could cancel the appointment totally, and we could just cut it. We could just cut the internet. If you scammers. I hate scammers too, Rich. I had one of them actually legitimately call me from Morocco. I'm not joking, right? So I answer the phone, right? Because obviously my wife's family is Morocco. And he's like, hello, and I'm like, yes. I said, it's about your computer. So there's like a virus on your computer, and I need certain information. And I'm like, dude, like, I can see that you're from Morocco. And he says, what does it matter where I'm from? I'm trying to help you with your computer. Now you listen. I'm like, no, dude, you listen, because I have a house in Morocco, and I have friends in Morocco. So if I want to, I will track you down. Legit said this. I was walking to work, by the way, doing this. So don't try this again. And he's like, but I said, no. And then I mentioned a couple names from Morocco that I knew if he's actually there, he's going to know. And he was like, I'm sorry. And he hung up. So that was my my scammer story. You owe the IRS money. Oh, are those the ones where, like, you owe money? go get some gift cards, and we'll work it out. That there's nothing I hate worse than like people that kind of prey on older people with stuff like this. Because let's be honest, like, all of us here, I don't care what your age, we're younger, but there's older people like my mom and my grandmother. They get those calls, and that's what they want. They want to, like. I worked at a place once, another place, a different place. It's closed down now, actually shut down, so I can actually talk about it. And they said, and I was like, fundraising. So I got this lady, must have been like in her 90s, right? So I said, don't you worry about it. You've done enough over the years. You don't need to give anything. And she was like, are you sure type thing. So I got called into the office, and I was like, you should have pushed it. She would have really went for like a big one. I'm like, she was in her 90s. Like, I don't think she knew exactly where she was at. And he was like, well, you can't do this again. He said next time, you got somebody like that, you get an older person on there, especially, talk a little bit, you sound like their grandkids, it'll be good. And my reaction to that was, I quit. And right then I quit. I didn't have a job waiting for me, but I couldn't do that. So if you're older, or if you're watching this and you're like a senior, yes, the IRS is not going to give you a call. They will contact you legitimately. That's it. I got grandparents. Well, I have one grandparent now. My other grandparents are passed on, actually. But I can't, customer service or that type of thing, I don't want to do anything or say anything on a phone that I wouldn't want done or said to my parents or grandparents. That's my one quota that I go with. That's one thing. That's my one rule. And with that being said, at almost 70 minutes, which is a shorter film, but a film nonetheless, I have to work in the morning. So I'm going to take my PJ self upstairs. I am Aaron. This is my movie library. Hopefully in a few days I'll be in Morocco, and I will get pictures for you guys and maybe some video as well. You are the cult of cinema, and you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again here soon. I will try to get another video before if I don't. Have an amazing New Year, guys. Happy New Year to y'all. And in 2020, hopefully, we'll get even better, more cult cinema stuff. Happy New Year.